We have in the past just purchased individual tickets, but you know, if you guys want to buy a table, I would like to see everybody there myself.
Yes, the pleasure of the board. If you all would, will you be there? Dallas, are you going to be? Okay. Anyone else going to attend?
Guy, Kate.
I'm in seeing the one in Beaumont the following week. So I'm going to get to hear it a week late. Don't give away all their secrets.
So, what y'all want to go, individual tickets or however? I know Ms. Holmes, you're going to be there, but you're going to be
I am.
someone else. Yeah.
Yes.
What you guys want to do?
I agree. Yeah.
Table?
Yeah, and there's staff that I'm
Yeah,
sure
very
will be
much.
there. All right, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the non-consent agenda items. Agenda item number 1, to discuss for possible consideration approving a release of a lien with Reliable Polymer at Spur 93 Business Park.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, I think I'm going to yield to Guy. Let Guy deal with this one.
Thank you, Floyd and board. Reliable Polymers was the first significant incentive that the EDC did in the business park. It was the building and the developer expanded that, as you all know, and we did, as I would say, sort of multiple agreements and modify these incentives. They were satisfied some time ago. We did not, though, ever receive a request really to close this thing out, although it really had been complete. Rachel has advised us that the current owner owes 2 years and 10 months of the assessments to tenants in the business park that are unpaid. So we have spoken to the title company that is closing this and indicated that we would, if approved by the board, we would have executed a release of lien that's in your packet and have it sent to the title company in escrow to be released only upon payment at closing of the 2 years and 10 months worth of unpaid assessments that is due from the current owner in the park. So we feel like that it is appropriate that they pay that at this point in order to get the lien released. And at least at this point, the title company said they will be happy to do so. So we do recommend approval.
Heard the comments. Any other comments? May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we execute the release of lien.
May I have a second? It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, to discuss for possible consideration entering into a ground lease agreement with Motiva Enterprise for approximately 91.7 acres in the Jade Avenue Business Park.
Yes, Madam Chairman, last board meeting or several meetings ago, they had a letter of intent to lease their 91.7 acres of land in the Jade Avenue Business Park. The attorneys have prepared a lease agreement for your execution. And any other thing on this, guy?
Just to remind the board that part of what Motiva intends to do to stabilize the site for the placement of Project Cargo, that is one of the intended uses, is that they will put down what is referred to as a geogrid, which is basically, as many of you may know, a stabilized material that will make the surface adequate for them to both put facilities on and to build and have road access in and around the site. They are not going to remove the geogrid when they leave, but as we have talked with Joe Wilson at your engineering firm, the geogrid is an appropriate use for parking area and to enhance our road bed. When you all decide with the layout of properties, wherever, let's say, the footprint of a property is sold, and there is a building to be constructed on that site, that geogrid will have to be removed and additional compaction work done for more complete stabilization of a building site per the building requirements of the city of Port Arthur. But generally speaking, we felt like this was a good program. It provides a benefit to an industrial partner. You don't currently have someone asking to develop part of the site, and they are also, in our effect, giving you somewhat of an enhancement overall to the property while they have the use of this. And we feel like that although it won't be developed for a while, you're getting a good flow of income that's not equivalent to, but will provide a fairly nice amount of money if they keep it for the entire lease term towards what you paid for the property to begin with. So we look at this as a positive for you all. They are also responsible for any damages done to utilities, roadway, such as built there now, any utility infrastructure, or anything that y'all have done for the monument sign and improvements to the landscaping. If anything is done that's derogatory to that during their tenancy, they're responsible for replacing that to your satisfaction. Yes, sir.
What exactly is a geogrid?
GeoGrid is, for lack of a better term, I'm just learning about this because I have a client that's doing this down in Chambers County. It's to me, it's just kind of it is a step above about what you and I would call stabilized material. It basically allows the surface of the material to be used so that it would not wash away, and it's not the equivalent of a board road, but it basically allows the surface area to be much more compacted so that they can drive trucks and equipment.
It's above limestone. It's above limestone.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, what I was just thinking, okay, what if somebody wanted to pave it or something? Would that be a foundation for later development?
It can work very well, as Joe has told Floyd, for both the roadway and for like parking and general areas. Where it would have to be taken up is simply where a building structure would be put on any future site, because again, that requires something more than just the geogrid for the base material of a foundation.
But that could be a base material for concrete parking.
Absolutely, and for
that's
and for
good.
concrete roadways, as I understand it as well.
That's super.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Other questions? There being no other questions, may I have a motion? May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second to approve agenda item number 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration approving recommendations in the microloan committee. Is this something that we can take to executive session? Is
I
it
think it's the
possible?
pleasure of the boards that you may be making policy changes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Very excellent. Okay. Okay.
I'd like to move agenda item number 3 to executive session. Agenda item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration going out for bid for contract services for the build-out of the second floor space of 501 Proctor Street.
Yeah, Madam Chairman and Commissioners, you guys gave us permission to look at some diagrams for the second floor. What we looked at, as I said, on the second floor there is no restroom, so I did ask the guy that we need restroom and also a kitchen or a conference room, coffee room. It is in the design, and the rest of the space, I think it was architect studio is looking to lease that space on the second floor. You guys have said you was willing to lease the space to him. This is design. What we want to do is go out and get some bids to have it constructed. I did speak to Nathan with SEDTEX. to give me some proposed bid, and this is just what he estimates this thing going to be. Whoever we get to bid this thing, I tell you now, we do not have $185,000 in our budget. I would have to do a budget amendment to get the money, to get it done if y'all want to start right now. I would have to do a budget amendment. That's why I'm giving y'all this quote, because unless you wait till after October, then I think we're going to still have to amend the budget because we did not budget for this for next year neither. I would rather do it this year because our budget is pretty set for next year, right, Rachel? And just go make a amendment to our current budget for the 180, so that we'd have the money to get it done, if y'all wish to do so.
Questions? Mr. Smith, would you pull your mic down, please?
Bids are you plan on getting?
We normally get 3 bids, and this was just a draft bid, something for me to go by.
So you're
But-
asking us to amend the budget tonight?
No, I could wait till next meeting, but I'm going to get some bids in within the next 10, 15 days. But I can tell you, I look at this, talk to the architect, and this is pretty good bid. If I get something above this is the minimum when I'm going to go. This is the maximum I'm going to go, not minimum, maximum. This is a pretty good bid. So,
Is this the firm that did the renovation?
they did the
prior
third
renovation?
floor and second floor. They did the third floor and third and second room? Yeah. They did the addition to the third floor and second floor, right.
And we can't vote to amend the budget tonight, though, can we? Because it's
Not on the agenda, but you'll need to do that because obviously before you're going out for bid, before you can award, you'll have to have the funding source. And so
Right.
they'll have to reallocate the money out of this year's budget.
So we would have to bring it to the next meeting because it's not on the agenda.
Yes,
Okay.
but I'm assuming by then that Mr. Baptiste may have a recommendation of an award for a bid.
Yes, I
Because he's
should.
going out for bid this month.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out.
Make him a recommendation of award next month.
Okay.
Do the budget amendment, then make the recommendation of award in that order on the
Right.
agenda.
That'd be good.
Okay.
But
Question?
are you guys happy with the design? Main thing is we had to have restroom and at least a place where they could have coffee. That common area is included in here, and it's going to be on that end of the building.
My question is, I know that the architect wants to
Yes, sir.
lease. Is he going to lease? He's not leasing everything, though. He's just leasing a portion of it?
All the uncommon area,
Okay.
everything that's not
So he's going to
common-
take the whole thing?
You're right. And I think it's about 700 square feet. It's estimated approximately 700 after we
Okay.
have the restroom and the coffee room.
Okay. I make a motion. Oh, another
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry, go ahead.
You said conference room, no conference room. Just-
No, sir. No, sir. No.
Any other questions?
Motion. We, yep.
And Madam Chair, we'll come back next time with some bids and then we could amend the budget. I think it would be let's see, what month is this?
This is August, so it'll be September.
At your rescheduled September board meeting.
It'll be September,
Okay,
which would be
okay.
a month
That'd be
from
good.
that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Be October.
That'd be good.
So the motion is just to go out for bid.
Right.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 4 to go out for bid for the second floor build-out. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, to discuss for possible consideration entering into an economic incentive with B&Bi's for approximately 0.4 acres of land at the Spur 93 Business Park.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Commissioners, B&B came to you guys a couple of boards meeting ago, and they purchased 2 acres of land. Well, there is about a 0.4 of an acre of the land before the easement, you know. And in the we trying to, Guy, can you help me out on this, man?
Yes, Floyd and I discussed this, and adjacent behind B&B Ice is a reserve area that, take this from sort of my looking at the map and expectation that reserve area, while it might at some point been developed, it seems to me it was intended in case the EDC, as the project developed, needed to put in additional common improvements like drainage improvements to ensure the surface uses of the property were in conformance with the, existing requirements. So this 0.4-ish acre tract of land would effectively have been stranded, and you all would probably have been asked by Mr. Baptiste and me to come in and revise the plat map to just add that to the reserve area, since it was stranded and really would not have been accessible except through that reserve. So as I was discussing this with Mr. Baptiste, we do understand that obviously B&B is buying these other 2 acres at market value, but they are going to be constructing improvements. You all worked with them before, but this is a new addition to their property, so they're going to be adding additional value and at least some expectation of some additional staffing. And so the thought was this would equate to about plus or minus about $20,000. And I asked Mr. Baptiste to check with B&B to see if the improvements that they were adding to their facility, not the existing facility, and the job creation might equate to an amount where you all could consider placing this into an economic incentive and let them make full use of that property for their ongoing business activities in addition to the 2 acres they're acquiring. And I think Mr. Baptiste can tell you about how that would work out to give them an incentive for the 0.4 acres and allow them to have the whole of the tract, purchasing 2 acres and getting an incentive for 0.4 acres.
Yeah, they plan to put about $2 million worth of improvements, and will hire an additional 7 to 10 workers. So we looked at the investment of additional $2 million in improvements and 7 to 10 workers would be equivalent to giving him an incentive of $20,000 for that 4 acres of land. Other than that, it would just be another part of the reserve tract, as Guy stated.
They did not initially, I want you all to know, they did not initially come and ask for an incentive for any part of the acreage they were purchasing. We just thought this might incentivize them to, continue to grow, because they are, at that point, they will have all the tract that they're able to acquire in that particular location.
What's their current level of employment?
I'm not sure, but I could get that for you.
Okay.
They have a lot of workers out there.
Met their incentive, I think, very easily this
Yes,
last time.
yes.
In fact, I can be corrected, but I think they were actually maybe a little bit ahead of schedule on. They were a little behind schedule because they had a little difficulty getting out of the gate, getting the project underway. But as far as the actual time that we anticipated under the performance milestone schedules, they tracked, and that has been released from the prior incentive obligation.
And I could say this, Commissioner, that 85 to 90% of the workers working for them are Port Arthur residents.
Yeah, that's what
You've heard the discussion on agenda item number 5. Have a motion, please.
So move.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 5. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, to discuss for possible consideration revising the economic incentive with Parker Building Supply, U.S.
Yes, Madam Chairman and Commissioners, on Parker Building Supply, what we changed was the milestone. Originally, we had them meeting the obligation by the year 2020. We amended the milestones for them to meet the obligation 2022. 3 years instead of 2 years. That's the only change. Is that the only change, Kate?
Right, that's the only substantive change to the agreement.
We hadn't already signed a contract with
Yeah,
them,
well,
had we?
we're changing the milestone.
Right, you
But we haven't entered into the agreement yet?
No, so you
okay.
approved the agreement at your last meeting, but then when we sent it over to get signed, Parker Lumber came back and asked for this revision, and so since it hadn't been fully executed, we told them that we could present the revised milestones to the board rather than having you amend the contract. You're just approving this revised version, and it'll be the version that goes into play if the board accepts the revised milestones.
All the conditions are the same, except it's going to be 3 years for them to meet the obligation instead of 2.
I so move that we make the addition to the agreement.
Been moved and second to approve agenda item number 6. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carried. Agenda item number 7, to discuss for possible consideration the second and final renewal of the professional service agreement with Germa P. LLC, currently effective through October 31st, 2019.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, again, 2 years ago, we entered into a new agreement with German Gertz to provide us legal services. Within that agreement, they had 2 one-year extension. We're asking you to extend it for the last time for 1 year, and next time we have to have a new agreement.
This is just simply extending the agreement under its current terms, and of course, we always, as we tell you, appreciate the opportunity to work for the EDC.
You're doing a great job, Guy and Kate. Thank y'all for the help y'all do.
Maybe I won't say Kate and Gat, since she's doing more of the incentives than I am.
Yes, she does.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 7. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 8, to discuss for possible consideration ratifying change order number 2 to the contract with Dean Builders.
Yes, ma'am. We're asking you guys to do a change order with Dean Builders. It did go before the council. The council did approve it. The change order is in the amount of $4,700, and it was for watering the trees, installing a catch basin, a drain pipe, little minor things to keep the water for the water to flow well in there. So the council did approve it. It's coming back to you guys to ratify what the council approved, because we did not want to hold up the work for it to come to you guys and go to the council. So we went to the council, and now we're asking you guys to ratify what the council have approved.
So the work's already done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The work
Do we need a motion?
sir.
Do we need to,
We went before the council before the work was done, though. And then we did not want to slow the work down, because they would have to demobilize then, and then they would have to mobilize them again. And this company is out of Spring, Texas. It costs us when we cut them off, and they have to come back again.
understandably, but do we,
Motion? I'll make a motion that we approve.
I have a question.
go ahead.
Just from my personal understanding. I understand it's been ratified already, right?
It's been approved.
It's approved by the
Been
council.
approved over there. We need to ratify it.
Yes, sir.
So is there really an option whether we ratify it or not? That's my question.
Yeah, but I'd just like to bring things back to you guys. I brought it to the council. I wanted to bring it back to you guys.
Okay.
Let y'all know what's going on.
In the future, I think it would be certainly satisfactory if you bring it to us in a report, if it's already approved. Because I don't know that makes any difference whether it's,
Good.
we approve it or
Ma'am.
not.
Cal.
Okay, but since it's on the agenda, we need to go ahead. We have a motion on the floor. We have a motion and a second. All those in
And
favor?
that now, question before.
Okay,
Because
question on
I'm
the
laughing
motion.
over here because if we choose not to ratify it,
Nothing.
what happens? I'm just asking a question. Yeah, okay. Okay. Right.
You can get the money back. You might still go to jail, but you gotta get the money back. Anyway,
We're ready for the vote.
okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 9, to discuss for possible consideration approving change order number 1 to the contract with SciTech Omni Services for asbestos mold lead remediation and demolition for 549 4th Street in the amount not to exceed $21,000.
Guy, you want to take both of them together, or how you want
Could
to?
I indulge the board to let me speak to both of these, and one is marked as a change order and one is an amendment. Floyd and I talked on our call for the agenda call last week, and Kate has reached out to Lisa Larson so that we make sure that we stylize these things as the manner by which EDA would require. Let me just kind of refresh the board's memory is that we asked Total Safety to come up with a mold and site remediation plan. They drew plans and specifications and then recommended SciTech Omni to actually perform the services based upon the technical specifications that Total Safety had drafted. That was a contract, as I recall, of about $293,000. As was the condition with this building, as many of you know who know somewhat about construction and reconstruction of buildings that had asbestos, is that it is not always readily available from just an observation that you have to actually remove materials. Total Safety had done, I think, an excellent job at identifying most of the asbestos that was going to be required, but as Floyd can describe better than I can, the building was built not all at once. The Port Arthur News building was an add-on and an add-on, and to make the building conform, let's say, to floor levels, there was things that were built up, but underneath that built-up portion, they found asbestos. So in other words, until you removed a layer, you weren't going to locate in this flooring 100% of the asbestos that required abatement. So this change order is styled a change order because work to remove asbestos flooring was contemplated. It's just that this particular additional identified section was not. And so this is what we have denominated. Blame me if Lisa Larson says, oh, these should both be called amendments rather than one a change order and one an amendment. So I'll ask y'all's indulgence, if it's the pleasure of the board to approve, that we call it a change order or whatever conforming terminology our partner in this wants. But that's what this one represents, to the tune of approximately $21,000. And if you'll indulge me, let me explain the next agenda item, and then you all can vote on them, obviously separately, because that's how they're agended. The next one is a little bit more in line with this building in that there was never an intention when Total Safety was asked to do their plans and specifications that they would dig back into, like this flooring, into certain areas. As it has been determined, around some of the windows in the building, there is a space in which they have now found asbestos. This was not like flooring where they anticipated and they saw it, they could see it. This was remediation that was not contemplated under the initial project because it couldn't be identified until they got in there as part of the unlayering of this whole project and this pre-construction period. We definitely need to have this done. It is our request that the amendment be done, and our request that we tell the EDA that this simply just could not have been identified in the plans and specifications at the time that those were drawn, but it's still critical to get this done, and we're going to request and hope that they are of the common mind with us that this additional work, which totals about $42,000, will also be approved as a part of the project scope. But again, this was not a failure on the part of our speccing company, Total Safety. Quite to the contrary, they couldn't, and we wouldn't have wanted them to do this and make this building in any manner open to the elements at any point until we are at this point. We are now in the pre-construction period and getting the rest of that material out. So on this, again, it is our request that the board consider this amendment for the dollar amount shown in the agenda item and as mentioned in the attachments.
On the windows, George, you want to explain those windows, what's going on?
For everyone that's familiar with the building, there's those blue panels that wrap around, mostly, I guess you call the upper portion. And so what they did, they removed one of the panels, and you see the window. So they don't know, like Guy said, you don't know what's all the way around the building, and there is asbestos around those windows. So that's the reason now we're asking for that amendment, because we're going to try to get them to do all of that before CTEX is in there.
Well, we have a contractor. We have a pre-construction contractor board. Last board meeting y'all approved. And they didn't want to open that thing up because they didn't want moisture to get into the building because they wanted to keep it dry. Now that we have a contractor aboard, he could secure that window once they go in there. So they, like George said, they're taking the panel off, and there's a grid between that and the window, and there's asbestos
in that
around
framing.
Right. So that's why the change. Well, this is new work.
Yeah, we're calling this an amendment, but we still believe that as I think the EDA project would say is that site has to be completely, removed from all mold and asbestos and the other things. So we still feel like, although it couldn't be identified, it should fall within the scope. Yes. But we do need to call this an amendment because it couldn't be identified at that time. So we do recommend y'all consider each one of these. We'll call the first one a change order and the second one an amendment. But however the EDA wants us to actually stylize them, that's the way it will appear whenever we send something over to council, and we will do that. Again, Kate's waiting for a call from Lisa Larson to just confirm the best manner by which we can do this and stay within their guidelines.
Do we have the money in the budget for this, or do we have to?
I would say there's contingency money in the
Yeah,
contract, and we're still, of course, waiting for a final number from CTEX.
Right.
So the answer is we certainly hope so.
Yes, sir.
We are not going to give you a guarantee until we get our GMP signed by CTEX. So
Well, we're not asking the EDA for more money, are we?
the EDA is not going to give us more money.
Not right, okay.
But we said this, we're very hopeful that this will fall into place with the other work we spent to date.
Right, but the contingency fund should cover.
We would hope so, yes, sir. I never want to give guarantees, but we'll let the contractor do that when they give us the GMP. But at this point, we feel that this is going to be necessary for us to move the project forward. Both of these need to be taken care of.
And Commissioner, if I recall, in the proposed budget, we had about $350,000 for remediation. The original bid came in at $293.
We're going to still be just, at least appears to be a little hair under the line item budget that was in there as an estimate. This will be about $340 and
Yep.
change, and the estimate was $350 in the bid to begin with.
Brett here, I guess they have to vote on this, guy.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, may I have, you have a question? Any other questions?
And we suggest y'all just go ahead and do them separately, since one is
Yes.
still we're denominating as a change order, although, and the other one is an amendment.
At
So we
this
take
time-
9 and 10 separately.
Certainly, at this time, may I have a motion for agenda item number 9?
On number 9, that we accept the change order.
May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 9. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10. It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 10. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, before y'all move forward, since y'all dealing with item 9 and 10, George, you want to kind of, we're very close to what this building going to look like and be like. So I think George had some pictures. You want to show them what's going on?
Okay, here is the outside of the building, and like we're saying, that blue panel is here, so we'll have to remove that here so we could, get the asbestos out and get those windows up. But this is the outside of the building on 4th Street. Here's the main entrance on the corner of 4th and Waco. So this is our new look for the outside of the building.
And you want to tell them what the CCBD, that's the,
Okay, we have different, let's see. The floor plan, thank you. The floor plan, it's hard to see, but I'll just call it out by colors. The green area downstairs and upstairs is going to be for what we have as the co-workspace. So if a small business or entrepreneur wants to come and rent office space, conference room, even if they want to just rent like a small section in what we call communities, they can rent any of those spaces here. And then, of course, we're partnering with Lamar for the culinary program. So all of the blue area is for Lamar. They're going to have 2 kitchens. One is a baking kitchen, and one is one for actual cooking. And they have their classrooms and offices here and some upstairs. And then we have an actual commercial kitchen that we'll have here in this purple area. If someone wants to do some type of catering, or if you have any class reunion, any type deal where you just want to come rent it for a couple of hours, that's what we have here. We're also going to have a cafe area, so you'll be able to eat here, a little courtyard area in between these 2 areas. And then, as he said, upstairs, above this blue area, we have the emergency command center for the police department, and they'll be able to have their own space in case of emergency. Like, with Harvey, everything will be upstairs, so nothing to get damaged. And then there's, in the center area, there's going to be a flex space that'll be rented. If someone wants to do yoga,
show them the upstairs?
I don't think he had one.
You don't have the upstairs?
I don't think he bring one out. The upstairs, they're going to have, if you want to have a studio area where you have yoga or photography, it'll be in that center area, and that'll be accessible to the police. Like if they want to do some type of report in case of emergency, they'll just go in there and kind of set up and film their little session where they report to the community. And then lastly, he has kind of what it's going to look like in one of the areas. It's going to have an atrium like we have here. This will be the 2nd floor looking over down. And this area here is where people could also sit. And we kind of know the younger crowd sit here and kind of do schoolwork or whatever, maybe some students or something in this area. But we're excited about this because it's a good thing for the entrepreneurs and the small business owners. That's it.
Thank
That's the
you.
building, guys.
Thank you. That's really nice,
Got a
very
question on that.
state-of-the-art.
I got a question
Go
on that
ahead.
building. We talked about ever since we've been working on this project, that the upstairs was going to be able to use for an event center. Is that not possible?
We moved out of, what we took that space and we enlarged the co-work space. It's going to be up and down. And we also had, I think you got 4 rooms.
And what happened, Lamar, they wanted classrooms upstairs, so we kind of wanted to appease them, so to speak, because they have the kitchens at the bottom and the offices, but they didn't have any classrooms if you're going to teach any, classrooms.
And they are saying 20 to 25 students per class.
Yes.
That's
So what
they-
area did we lose? Explain that to me again.
Originally, we was thinking about an event center there, but we move away from that. Yeah.
The event center would have taken up what space, though?
The
The event center it would have been upstairs, so it would have been
Okay.
in the area where we had
All
a
right.
flex space and the offices in
I
that
see.
middle section upstairs.
I see.
right. I think I have that board in my office. Huh?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, the decision is made. I was just wondering.
So there will be no opportunity for community events in the building at all?
No. We thought about that, Commissioner. There's a whole lot of private sector with space, and then there's a civic center, and we thought that if we just didn't want to compete with private sector, we wanted, so a whole lot
I
of.
understand that, but I thought when we initially discussed this, we were talking about in the revitalization of downtown that piece was going to be, one of the pieces, to start attracting other things down here. So it's kind of shocking to come in and not be in there,
But didn't you speak to a space that is available for renting?
And that's what I was going to say. It might not necessarily be
As large.
as large as an event center. However, that flex space is I guess a room where it's divided in 4s, and you could make it 2 or 1 big open room.
Yeah.
So there'll be, it's just smaller than the actual event center.
Yeah, it won't be as large.
What's
How
the
big
square-
is it?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was.
I think, I'm not sure the square footage, but we could find out.
Okay. I was just wondering what
Because
would be the
total
comparison.
idea is not gone from what you're saying. It's just not
Yeah.
as large because of the adjustments made for the culinary school.
Well, I couldn't, there's a lot of event centers around town.
Yes, sir.
A lot of them. And then we got Parker Center, which is right in our neighborhood, and that's a beautiful place to have an event. And I know it's available for all kind of functions. So Parker Center.
Parker Center.
Upstairs and downstairs. Oh, yeah.
Call Parker
They
Center
have a
over there
lot
by
of-
Lamar.
Have a lot of events in Lamar.
Next to, yes.
Upstairs, there's been many events up there.
Yeah. I think the idea was that we were looking at a smaller venue than some of those, but just a more intimate venue. A more intimate venue. But I think we haven't totally lost that. Is that correct, George? Okay, all right. While he's going to do that, I think we can move on to the next, and we can come back to that during your report, Mr. Baptiste. We'll move on to agenda item number 11 to discuss for possible consideration accepting a bid for PA EDC newsletter.
No. That's it, Joe.
Good evening. If you guys look in your packet, I have a breakdown, a bid tabulation of the companies the 3 actual firms that we narrow down. And tonight we're going to make a recommendation to go with Classic Forms.
Classic Farms was the lowest bid.
Yes, it was the lowest bid.
And I'll raise a question, if I might, that I presented to Renata, because when I looked at this the postage and mailing was a big difference in the bids, and I just wanted to know how could Classic Forms be so far off from Kirksey's and the mailroom and still be able to get out the same number of newsletters?
Well, I will speak to that. Myself and the purchasing manager, we actually got online because we wanted to get clarification from Ms. Worthington because we thought it was a little off as well. But we did get clarification, and she said that it's $70 per thousand, which equaled to $1,690.22. So we did get that verification. And a lot of companies, what we've realized is some purchase the like the postal services, where some they actually contract out. So evidently they actually have their own postal service in-house. So that's why it's cheaper for the mail out.
And the second question, and I posed this prior to the meeting, I just want to make sure that everything's above board. The quality of work and the quality of the newsletter that Kirk's or Classic Forms is going to present is what you all expected, on the same type paper with the same type coloring and everything.
Yes. When I sent out the quote, every company was actually supposed to quote a quote that reflected what I asked for. And she did send in some items, and I had to call her back, and we actually got on the phone with her because what I had initially received, I was like, well, no, this is not exactly what I want, but can you produce this? And she said yes. This was just something that she gathered because I think she had did Mobile All newsletter for like 15 years, and they didn't actually go with the actual stock and the actual fold that I asked for, but she is capable of making that same fold with the same paper. Mm-hmm.
And I won't say anything after this. As an old procurement professional, you know you get what you pay for. And the difference there just jumped out at me, and I just wanted to make sure that we were getting what we actually wanted.
This is not the same company that's done it in
No,
the
this
past.
is a totally different company.
Where they located at?
All three are in Beaumont.
Okay. Now, how long is this bid good for?
Actually, that I don't know.
I was just wondering because last meeting we talked about when the newsletter was going to go out. So I'm just wondering if it doesn't go out in a timely manner, does this all start over?
Oh, no. We're going to make sure that we get it out before the close of before the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing I was going to ask you, and this is jumping from this, but I didn't want to forget Mr. Smith's recommendation to Crystal the other day. I don't know if he was here, you might have left.
About having the pictures?
No, about scholarships, putting in the
The
newsletter.
pictures and talking about it. It was at the last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I will tell you just from the past is that when you use a lot of pictures, it takes up a lot of space, and we tend to have a lot of verbiage, and we only have a limited amount of space. And so I know that we ran into that last time. So a lot of pictures were omitted, but we will make sure that we do have pictures. If we have to minimize them, we'll make sure because that's important.
Okay.
Yeah. Questions?
I just make a comment. The biggest difference in the price is that circulation, cost of circulation. God, that's a amazing difference
Postage,
there.
yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with the printing. It just has to do with the postage.
The postage.
It's just hard to imagine that there's that much difference in a bid. Well, all three of them. Matter of fact, a lot of difference in the postage. Somebody's making money on postage or something. That's all I can see.
That's interesting. That's really interesting because the cost of postage should be the cost of postage.
Yeah, you would think, huh?
You would think. But they're contracting it out, the postage component. All right.
Motion, so moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve agenda item number 11. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Yes.
Right.
Please amend your motion that, well,
I move that we accept the bid for Classic Form.
thank you, sir.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. Agenda item number 12, to discuss for possible consideration moving the September board meeting. Our board meeting is on a holiday next month, and we'd like to... Labor Day. On Labor Day, and we'd like to move it to the pleasure of the board, possibly.
The following
To
Monday?
the following Monday.
Oh, the following Monday.
The following Monday.
And what day would that be?
The following Monday would be the 8th. 9th.
The
9th.
9th. Okay.
9th.
It's been moved.
Okay,
I
it's been
second.
moved. It's been moved and second to move the September meeting to September 9th. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move on to reports. Marketing and business recruitment.
Okay, I'm going to start off by giving an update. If you look to the back, with Facebook Analytics, as you guys know, Mr. Baptiste and George, they are actually speaking out to the community on what can the PA EDC do for me. We actually had our first session on Thursday, July 25th, and I just want to show you the power of social media. As you can see, this particular flyer reached 2,645 people. We had 21 shares from this particular flyer. I actually posted it again. It reached 73 people, 1 share. And then I just want to give you guys just a little insight. And I'm pretty sure Mr. Baptiste and George will talk about, but I'll just show you.
Because most people don't know what we do, you know, and they don't know why we do it. And what we're trying to do is educate the people about what we do, why we do it, how we do it, and when we do it, and let you guys know some of the things that we got going on right now, okay? We're gonna be holding, I think it's 6 sessions, George? 6 sessions. This is our very first one on the west side. In August, on August the 22nd, we're going to be in District 2, which will be at the Strong Child Ministry. Then in August the 29th, we're going to be at the Public Library.
And that's just a little excerpt because it actually lasted 59 minutes, the meeting did. But 130 people, this particular meeting actually reached 130 people. We had 75 views, and I streamed it on our EDC page, and I also streamed it on my personal page. And between my page and the EDC's page, we actually had about 300 viewers. Now, we did have 3 people from the community in attendance, and I think Mr. Baptiste said if we got 3 people, that would be good. But from a social media standpoint, we did reach people pretty much this all over the world. Anybody can actually have access to this particular meeting and all the meetings to come. Then I actually put it out there again because we actually had I guess you can say we had a wrong address. So I actually went back out there and I pushed it again. And for the next one that they're actually holding, it's reached 834 people. So hopefully at the next forum, they'll have a lot more people there than what we experienced the first time. But what I wanted you guys to see is that we did have a reach by doing it from a social media standpoint. So people were able to chime in and see exactly what we have going on. And the video is accessible on our Facebook page, the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. So any of you guys, you can go in and look at it. It was very good information. Also, from a LinkedIn standpoint, I actually posted all this on LinkedIn as well. I had some technical difficulties earlier because my iPad was saying they wanted me to update, so I can't give you analytics on LinkedIn, but I will tell you that we did have a lot of views as well on LinkedIn. Of course, the newsletter, you guys just approved the newsletter. Looking forward to working on that. On last week, we actually got the RFP for the corporate target market branding that you guys, we've decided to go with. We're waiting on Mr. Smith. We're going to have to wait on him to complete his RFP, and from there, we can bring it back to you guys and make a recommendation on where we choose to go from there. Any questions?
What are you waiting, Mr. Smith?
It's RFP. Mr. Smith, Christopher Smith, I'm sorry. not Dallas Smith, I'm
to
sorry.
do an RFP?
A request for proposal for
Well,
our
yeah.
corporate market targeting branding. This is where we actually go outside of Port Arthur and we recruit people back into our community because we have a shortage.
Okay, he's assisting in writing though?
No, we actually have our RFP. We have to grade each firm.
Oh, you mean to review the
to review
RFP?
it, yeah.
Okay, I'm
we have to do
sorry.
it individually,
Okay.
and so, yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't explain, but we have to do it individually, so we're waiting on that. But that concludes
Okay.
my report for tonight.
Thank you. Operational report? Yes, you have a question?
I have a question. I had a question. Have y'all been getting calls from this?
Yeah, we've been getting calls, and matter of fact, was it you? The young lady came in last time or called?
We had one young lady who happened to call the same day of the forum, and she was inquiring about wanting to start a business here in Port Arthur. And I directed her to the forum on that night. The young lady did attend. She said it was very helpful. So I think as the forums move forward and more people find out about them, we'll have better attendance.
She said with Facebook and stuff like that. I just want to know. They're calling you, saying they seen this on Facebook and just inquire.
We did get a couple of calls the next day. I did speak to a couple of people the next day.
Operational report?
Crystal is out training this week. I guess, George, you want to tell them what's going on with employment training?
Well, we currently have 4 businesses that we approved incentives, correct? Parker Lumber. Yeah. And we have a total of about 91 positions from Port Arthur that we'll be filling. So we're excited about that simply because, you know, what we're trying to do is actually right here in front of us right now. We have to put these Port Arthur people to work. We watch all these companies come in and sign these agreements. And I know Robogistics, we met with Lamar, I think it was last Tuesday. They're going to get 26 people from Port Arthur. And it was good to see that meeting where the people that come and, you know, they showed us the video at one of the previous meetings about the robots and all of that. Well, now it's the next step where they're trying to get the employment from the people, the students from Lamar. Parker Lumber, I can't think of the number off top, but I know they're needing forklift drivers, truck drivers, vessel repair, ram techs, all of them. So it's a total of about 91 people that the jobs have already committed to saying that they'll take from the city of Port Arthur.
One of the things that we are working on, and I have invited our chairman, Wednesday. This employment thing is busting loose on us right now. Like George said, 91 jobs. That's just those folks that y'all approve. We're not talking about the Echoes and these other people. But we have invited Lamar State College, Motiva, Total, Valero, and Flint Hill. And we have about 6 or 7 subcontractors that's going to be sitting down with us. Dr. Renard from Lamar, Marilyn Smith from the workforce. And we're looking at trying to implement a system of where we could identify the skill sets of people using work keys, you know. And that's going to happen Wednesday. And we got a lot of buy-in from our partners right now. This is the first time we're going to have the subcontractors there. The plant manager's been here, but now we're going to have our subcontractors. And the deal is we're trying to establish a database where we could identify skills of individuals that when we refer based upon a job profile where we know the skills that's required to do the job. So we're going to match the skills of individuals to the skills of the job, and those are the people we're going to be referring. Currently, the system we have is the system we have, and my career is workforce development, and I hate to say after 25 years, it doesn't work, and we're looking for a better system. So it's going to take a lot of commitment from us, from industry, from the subcontractors, from the workforce to make this thing work. And I think they are buying into it because I think we're going to get a better product. So I think we can give you guys some more information at our next meeting because we're still trying to develop this thing. Along with that, we have met with Sempra, and we have to first source referral with Sempra. The city is currently negotiating with Motiva, and the city have a policy, and the first source referral is part of that policy now. So we have to have something that's going to work, and that's why we're trying to put this process together so that we could have a better referral to the people that we send people to, and a better match. Hope to give you guys some more information next week.
I got a question, Floyd, and I know you've mentioned it to me, but I haven't heard it announced or anything through the media or anywhere else that we did get that grant for the training center.
Yeah, that was part of my report.
Oh, well,
The EDA did award us the $4.8 million for Lamar Training Center. Currently, Guy and Kate working on a memorandum of understanding between us and Lamar. But, it's not official yet.
Well, that's what I meant.
It's not official yet. But we got the word, we got the money.
Oh, okay. But they hadn't put it on the news media.
It will be prior before October 1. But I will tell you guys, we did get the money, and I thank everybody that helped us with putting this proposal together. It will probably be the best thing you've seen between here, Houston, and New Orleans. You probably won't see anything like that in the state of Texas. I will tell you, Bechtel, right? Bechtel have committed $2.5 million in simulated equipment for that center. That's in addition to what EDA is putting in, man. So I could see this thing to be a big thing in the future for Southeast Texas, not only Port Arthur, for the whole region.
Let's be excited once it's finally approved, because everybody knows now. we are televised. Okay. All right. Financial report.
Wow. Okay, here we go. The financial report is effective as of July the 31st, 2019. The projected revenues for this fiscal year is $4,203,478. As of July 31st, our expenditures for this fiscal year is $3,382,731, leaving us an excess of $820,747. Our debt service for this fiscal year is $891,574. As of July the 31st, we have serviced $742,578 of that debt, and we have $148,996 left in this fiscal year. That leaves a net change in fund balance of $671,751. Our fund balance at the beginning of the year was $7,647.67, which will leave us a projected fund balance at the end of the year of $8,318,818. You notice any unused allocations and balances should increase your fund balance at the end of the fund year. The next two sheets, of course, is a breakdown of these numbers and of your expenditures and your payroll, and also the debt service. We give it to you in line item. Our allocation for the City of Port Arthur for sales tax for this month, the month of July, was $1,330,522, with the EDC portion being $4,055,918.11. So as of today, July the 31st, we have one more month left in this fiscal year. We are doing very well with our budget thus far, and our sales tax are coming in. Everything looks solid. I can tell you your numbers are solid at this time.
Are there
Any questions?
any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too. Okay, Mr. Baptiste, it's your turn
the
to
only-
share all the exciting information with us.
The only thing I had was about EDA grant, which was exciting. Hard work pays off, man. Anyway, we did get the grant. Yeah, we did get the grant. That's all I have.
We got the grant, EDA. At this time, a closed meeting will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551. Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith was going to try to help on a different day, maybe for the meeting. Was that ever discussed? What happened there?
We did not pursue or discuss it any further
There were some people that couldn't be here on those.
on certain days.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
right. So a closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Section 551.071, to discuss with attorney pending and potential litigation. Section 551.072, to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, NDC, KLV Ventures, and 4th Street property. Section 551.074, to discuss personnel matters, staffing, and Section 551.087, to discuss incentives for commercial and industrial business prospects. The items in the executive session will be acted on in open session. This time, we'll move to executive session. Only one item for the board to vote on. That's agenda item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration approving recommendations of the microloan committee.
I so move. Approval.
It's been moved and second to approve the recommendations of the microloan committee. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Is there any other business?
Well, the only thing is, do you need to notify the city, you or Rachel, that the new terms, because don't some people, some of the microloan kind of come through them over here to you all to let them know the change or not? Okay.
All right. There any other? Okay. There being no further business, may I have a motion for adjournment? Second. It's been moved and second to adjourn the August meeting. We'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, in September on the 9th. Meeting adjourned.